Shalom. First and foremost, all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles, and salutations to you brothers doing this thing in sincerity, truth, and charity. Alright, so basically, we're going to have into this slap in the face that you niggas government is doing to y'all, man. With this bill, this HR
1242.
What was I looking up though? This one? HR 1242. And we're really going to lightly touch on this bill, man, but it's a lot of bullshit that comes along with it. So first we're going to read this, man. Alright, it says HR 1242, the 115th Congressional, Slaki, let me go back. 115th Congress 2018, some bullshit. Slaki, that part isn't important. Okay. Alright, HR 1242. 400 Years of African American History Commission Act. Alright, the fact that it's called African American History is a slap in your fucking face as well, man. But look, we're gonna keep going, man. This is the summary of what this bill is, man. Alright. It says 400 Years of African American History Commission Act, Section 3. This bill establishes the 400 Years of African American History Commission to develop and carry out activities throughout the United States to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of Africans in the English colonies at Point Comfort, Virginia in 1619. Alright? The commission must plan programs to acknowledge the impact that slavery and laws that enforce racial discrimination had on the United States, encourage civic, patriotic, historical, educational, artistic, religious, and economic organizations to organize and participate in anniversary activities, assist states, localities, and nonprofit organizations to further the commemoration and coordinate for the public scholarly research on the arrival of Africans in the United States and their contributions to this country. Alright? Then it goes into, it's going to grant research to scholarly organizations to research, publish, or distribute information relating to the arrival of Africans in the United States. And I'm going to skip down to Section 9, the last of it all. It says, all expenditures of the commission shall be made solely from donated funds. Alright? So this bill is basically set up to commemorate. It's a celebration of Esau putting our asses in slavery, man. That's what it boils down to. And they saying, look, we're going to put together groups and shit to talk about the slavery that happened in this place, to talk to remember this shit. But then it says they ain't going to pay for none of it. It got to be donated money. So even in supposedly acknowledging you fucking niggas, they say we're not going to pay a dime for it. We'll coordinate the shit, but you're going to have to pay for it yourself. Alright? And this bill does nothing. We remember the slavery because we still in this motherfucker. Alright? And then they call you Africans. And that's the bullshit. Because they go into this year because they gathered up some people from West Africa and brought them into Virginia in 1619. But they don't mention that they was bringing us over here for a whole 150 years before this, basically, man. Okay? It's fucking mad. So, this is James 5, man. This is why America's going to be destroyed. This is James 5 and 1. You can get Wisdom Solomon 5 and 1? Mm-hmm. This is James 5 and 1. Select it, because this is one of my messed up pages.
Shit, you want me to get that too? I'll read it for you. This is the book of James 5 and 1. It says, go to now, ye rich men, weep and howl for your miseries that shall come upon you. Your riches are corrupted, and your garments moth-eaten. Your gold and silver is cankered, and the rust of them shall be a witness against you, and shall eat your flesh as it were fire. It said, ye have heaped treasures together for the last days.
That's right, man. And America got all this great riches in this place, all for it to be now what? Corrupted and moth-eaten. What we're seeing is the decline in this economy. All right? But go ahead. That's not the point of this. Go ahead. Hey, we're witnessing the fall of this place. All right?
This verse 4 says, behold, the hire of the laborers which have reaped down your fields, which is of you kept back by fraud, crieth, and the cries of them which have reaped are entered into the ears of the Lord of Sabaoth.
All right, and how did you get rich, man? All right, it says by these laborers. Who was that? These same said slaves, man. Not only these slaves only, man. Don't forget about the Northern Kingdom, the Native Americans and the Latinos too, man.
That's right.
That's how you got fucking rich. And that's why you're going to be destroyed. And this bullshit law that you push, this HR 1242, is just a slap in the face and shows how you got to be destroyed, man. You can't even truly acknowledge that niggas built up this place, man. And that's why you got so rich you was able to deceive the rest of the world, man. Mm-hmm. Off the backs and ideas. You ain't gonna go tell the world that niggas did all this shit, man. They invented this shit. The niggas invented the damn iPhone at that, man.
Because all that is a mockery.
That's right.
You know, he's mocking the children of Israel. This is Ezekiel 22:5. It says, those that be near and those that be far from thee shall mock thee, which are infamous and much vexed, man. You know? And the heathens around about us, what? Lamentations 2:15. Is this the beauty, man? You know, so here it is. They passed a whole, what was that, a law or something they passed? Or whatever the fuck it was, man. You know? To openly mock you niggas, man.
Right. Yeah, we are organized to talk about the shit you did. Hey, which only proves what? They've been lying this whole time. They ain't been talking about the contributions that we did to this society, man. They haven't given you niggas credit, and they still not finna do it. Even in the bill, when they supposed to give you niggas credit, they still not even gonna do it, man. Yeah, but we're organized. Hey, you niggas, put together some shit, niggas. Yeah, hell yeah, go ahead. Pay for it too.
Bro, they said none of it would come out of the federal budget.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, hey, shit, if y'all niggas get together, if y'all put some shit together, we'll get the money together and we'll host it.
Right. Well, they didn't say that. They didn't go host it. They have to pay for the building.
Right, but
they just talk about it. They we'll link you up with these. Hey, you group of niggas put together some shit, and we'll link you up with these group of niggas. Really, they not gonna do shit. Cause what role would they play? You funded the money. You got to make all the contacts. You got to research this shit. So what the fuck are they gonna do? Nothing. This is just a. This shows what Esau really thinks of you, man. This is their attempt to appease you niggas, and it's really a slap in the face. Mm-hmm. This is bullshit.
And then you got niggas running with it. 400 years African American. See?
Right.
2019, 2020. We're going to be out of here.
That's the next point, yeah.
No, man.
You hit that Wisdom of Solomon 5?
Yeah. This is Wisdom of Solomon, the 5th chapter. It says, then shall...
So I can keep, and note, man, this bill, in fact, this is beautiful this bill got put out. Because it shows that Esau would never give you niggas credit. Why won't they start telling who you are? Instead of signing that bill, they should have said, look, you the Israelites. Instead of signing that bill, they should finally, hey, why they at least say, well, hey, look, thanks niggas. Y'all built this, y'all did this, y'all the reason we got this far. They're not going to do none of that. Right?
Basically, it's a bill saying, look, man, it's going to acknowledge that, yeah, y'all was brought over here as fucking slaves.
That's all it is. We just saying that's what they are doing, that we brought you over here as slaves. Alright? And that's beautiful that's coming out, man. Because now this is why Esau got to go down, man. Hey, hell, that's basically the fulfillment of that prophecy, that they ain't going to acknowledge the shit they did. So the Lord of hosts is coming, the Lord of armies, man, to destroy you motherfuckers for this wickedness, man.
And it's beautiful because they was trying to like a couple years back, they was trying to say indentured servants.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? They came over here willingly and all that madness, man. But no, that's the shameful spewing coming back up, man. You know? On their own selves. And they mocking you niggas at the same time.
It's madness, man.
This is Wisdom of Solomon 5:1. Then shall the righteous man stand in great boldness before the face of such as have afflicted him and made no account of his labors.
Right, so and that's what we're doing, man. Hey, this bill ain't giving us permission to do it. We're doing it through the power of Yahweh Hashem Yahweh Shai, man. And we're going to tell you the truth about it, man. This devil is the devil. He's been beating us for well over 400 years, man.
That's right.
All right? Well over 400 years, man. And Lord, we're going to touch a little bit on that, man. All right? Been beating us for well over 400 years, putting us in captivity. All right? Which we're still in. And God, that's another thing they just admitted. They just told us that we're still in captivity.
Exodus 21.
They literally just admitted that we're still in captivity, man.
Yep.
Which is why this devil is about to be destroyed, man.
He that stilleth the man, if he be found in his hands, he shall surely be put to death, man. So he's acknowledging what, man? Yeah, I took you niggas. Yeah, you niggas were slaves. Yeah, we brought you niggas over here. So now let's commemorate it. Let's celebrate the fact that you niggas was brought into slavery.
And still in slavery. And from 1619 to now, according to them, because it's been longer than that, to now, you was enslaved and still in slavery, man.
Right.
And still at the bottom, still getting fucked over. And we're not going to talk about all the inventions you made that we stole. We're not going to talk about all the trillions of dollars, how we deceived the world and got control of the world, thanks to you building up this society. But we will acknowledge that we brought you as slaves, and you're still a slave now.
Mm-hmm.
They just told on themselves that we still got you niggas enslaved.
Mm-hmm.
This Exodus 21.
And they say, no, it's like brother. And they say, and they said what in that little law, whatever the fuck this shit is, right? They said that on this day was the Africans brought over here, 1619. On that day, okay, so what about the ships that came from Portugal, Spain before that? What were you calling them before that? Were they called Africans as well? Because they weren't from Africa. They was being brought from Europe. You know. So how do you explain that? And then on the other hand, all you people who talk about are the 400 years, that prophecy in Genesis about the 400 years and all that. Well, if that's the case, man, you can only be a so-called Black Power Israelites in order to believe in that Genesis, man. First and foremost, Lord willing, we're gonna get into it and prove what that Genesis is talking about. But in order for you to believe that Genesis prophecy is talking about here, then you can only be a Black Power Israelite, man. Because the Northern Kingdom came on those slave ships before they even took the Southern Kingdom from the west coast of Africa, man.
Right, shit. Columbus took damn slaves back.
Yeah, 1492, man. You know. So at the end of the 1400s, at the beginning of the 1500s, man, the Northern Kingdom was being brought from Hispaniola. Not Hispaniola. No, that's what they call the island. That's what they call the island of Dominican Republic and Haiti, man. You know, they in those Caribbean islands, those surrounding islands, man. He was bringing the Northern Kingdom from there and taking them to Europe. But guess what? What we read earlier, he was taking the Israelites from Europe and departing them over here. But Lord willing, we're gonna get into that. It's lucky.
You're all good. This is Exodus 21 and 16. And he that stealeth the man and selleth him, or if he be found in his hand, he shall surely be put to death.
There it is.
So there you go, man. This is why we're watching his economy crash. This is why we're watching him gear up for World War III. Because what do they call him? The Lord of Hosts. Can we get the Joel 3 Baba Kushah? They call him the Lord of Hosts, man. Alright? Because they have enslaved us and kept us in slavery, man. To this very day.
This is Joel 3:1. It says, "For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, I will also gather all nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations,
right,
and parted my land."
It's like Khan. All right, so he said he's going to set them up in the valley of Jehoshaphat. All right, which is Syria and those surrounding lands, man, the so-called Middle East. the old land of Syria, the old kingdom of Syria, that landmass, which included actual our land, Israel. So them fake Jews that got our shit are gonna be fucking destroyed, man. All right. All you motherfuckers in that area, you're gonna be destroyed, man, because that's the valid decisions. He said to judge, which means to plead, which means to judge. And how's he gonna judge according to Isaiah 66 with fire, man? And it said, why? Because you have enslaved his children, man. So this is why we're watching all this happen, man. This is why America's Salakia. This is why the world economy is crashing. This is why the world is geared up for World War III. All right. This is why so many plagues across the planet. This is why all this hell is breaking loose, man. Loose famine, these weird ass hurricanes, weird ass wildfires, weird ass earthquakes, weird ass mudslides. Okay. All this is happening because of us being in captivity, man. For damn near 600 years. Damn near. Because, hey, what was reading earlier talked about how they, when Esau finally took over Spain, they started to enslave us, man. They started to enslave us even over there. This is in the 1400s, man. So that 400 year slavery shit don't apply, man. You know, the prophecy ain't shit talking about the shit they talking. Alright, it doesn't apply, man. Esau been beating our ass for over 500 years, man, enslaving us, man. That's madness, man. There's more to that, right?
Verse 3, this Joel 3:3. And they have cast lots for my people, and have given a boy for a harlot, and sold a girl for wine, that they might drink.
That's right. We were traded for goods, man, and services. All right. Wine was a big thing. That rum was a huge thing that we got traded for. All right. Hell, they even traded us for sexual pleasures. They trade us off for sexual pleasures, man.
Yep.
Yeah, so they can get a prostitute. Like, give us these so many niggers, and then you can keep this little boy for yourself and pop, or take this woman you can pop for yourself. But you give us them, man. We'll give you some weapons. You give us these damn slaves, man. This is what they did, man. You had something you want to say?
No, because it says sold them for wine. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what they was giving those Hamites for catching us, and you know, and that's what they was trading with. Mind you, the fucking rum and the different things they was giving them was fucking watered down, man. You know. So he didn't even fall. Due to the fullness of his agreement he had with you heathens, man. And all you fuckers is gonna pay, man.
That's right. That's why the world economy is crashing, and the world is gearing for World War III, and the world is suffering plagues because the world has been oppressing us, man.
And now they all these nations is having that feeling like Red's daddy on Friday, man.
Right.
You know, who told you to come around here messing with these people?
It's too late now, man.
Yeah, it's too late, man.
It's too fucking late. Y'all getting fucked up with Esau, man. Go ahead.
It says, verse 4, yea, and what have ye to do with me, O Tyre and Zidon, and all the coasts of Palestine? Will ye render me a recompense?
Right. Hey, you can't pay him back. You fucking Arabs are starting to talk about all the blacks over there, the Israelites. You fucking Hamites starting to talk. Look, it's too late. You can't repay this. Because that's the Palestinians and the Hamites, man, the Arabs and Africans that's sold us and provided the slave ships for us to get over here, man. Arabs built the slave ships. Hell, Arabs was putting us in slavery too. All right, and the Hamites was rounding us up and selling us off too, man. Y'all are fucking through, man.
Yep.
And this was for longer than 400 years, man. This was during the time of the 1400s as well. Hell, you Arabs was enslaving us in the 9th century, 8th and 9th century. You was putting the Christians in captivity, the niggers in captivity, man. All right?
It says, And if ye recompense me swiftly and speedily, will I return your recompense upon your own head.
So whatever you try to pay the Lord back, he said it's gonna be a slap in your face, man. And you gave him a bunch of gold, he's gonna smack you with that gold, man. Recompense you upon your own head. So all this shit you want to start talking, even that man Dinajab talks about, he didn't even come out and flat out say it. He says how these Esau got the Israelites over in captivity, man. It's too late. Gamal Nasser halfway said it, they ain't gonna be honored because the Jews left black, came back white. Why you ain't why these Arabs ain't make a big thing about it? So fuck that. You can't pay the Lord back, you can't pay us back, man.
Mm-hmm.
You're gonna have to deal with this World War III. All right, you're gonna have to deal with all the destruction and plagues to come. All right? And you're gonna have to deal with this captivity that's gonna be set up for you, man. Go ahead.
No, I just Googled, while you were speaking, I just Googled it, right? I Googled how long was the transatlantic slave trade, right? Now, it says right here in Google, 300 years. But that's what it says right here, right? But then now I'm going to go into read it. For well over 300 years, European countries forced Africans, you see how they still using that word, onto slave ships and transported them across the Atlantic Ocean. The first European nation to engage in the transatlantic slave trade was Portugal in the mid to late 1400s. So if you start from there, mid to late 1400s, right? So let's just use the late 1400s. 1492, right? Yep. Let's start there. 1592, 1692, 1792, 1892 would be 400 years right there, man. So when do the 400 years start? According to these guys, they're talking about 400 years since 1619. Well, we was being transported before then, man.
Yep.
So that's madness, man. For all you people that 2019, 2020, 400 years we've been in Egypt.
Been this motherfucker way longer than that, man.
That's madness, man. It says, back in Joel 3 and 5, it says, because ye have taken my silver and my gold, and have carried into your temples my goodly pleasant things. The children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians, that ye might remove them far from their border.
That's right. All right? That's you Hamites and you Arabs, man, selling us to the so-called white man. All right? And taking us far across the whole goddamn Atlantic Ocean, man. To the other end of the world. All right? And this was going on during the 1400s, man. So we've been going through this for a long, and this proves that the Northern Kingdoms, who we say it is, the Latin Native Americans, because they was going through it right along with us, man.
They just mentioned both houses. It says the children also of Judah and the children of Jerusalem have ye sold unto the Grecians. You know,
there we go, man. So we've been captive to both tribes, both nations was captive to these damn Edomites, man.
That's right.
Bringing us over here, taking them over there. Hell, enslaved some of them over here, enslaved some of us over there. We went through this shit together, man. Mm-hmm. And God traveled across the ocean together, man.
Yep. This is Amos 1 and 6. It says, thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgression of Gaza, and for 4, and if you look on a map and see where Gaza is located.
Palestine.
Yep, it's located in Palestine. So it's matching up with Joel, the 3rd chapter. So it says, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. So that's letting you know who those Grecians were, man.
That's who we got.
Those Grecians were who? Edomites, man.
That's right.
So-called white man. So-called white man. You know?
That's right. 400 years. Well over that.
Yep, and that was taking place well before 1619 or 1620, whatever date they trying to put on there, man.
Con, I got one for you. This is about the Middle Passage, right? And it shows the triangular slave trade. It got the what we landed at in South America and on the islands and America from Florida on up to like Virginia. then it got Africa, then it got Europe highlighted. And it shows a triangle, right? And it says commercial goods from Europe were shipped to Africa for sale and traded for enslaved Africans. Africans were in turn brought, now this is bullshit, but this is how they word it, so fine. Africans were in turn brought to the regions depicted in blue, and guess what? 70 AD, a lot of niggas fled into West Africa, man. Alright, we had to escape Roman persecution. Alright? And that's prophecy, and that's written in history. Alright, we set up Timbuktu. Alright, we had actual thriving societies over there in West Africa, Negro land as they called it, man. Separating us from the actual Hamites over there. We had actual thriving societies over there. We were already doing trade with the Europeans over there. Alright, we were booming. And they took us down to get the fuck out their land. Alright, and fucked us up, man. You get where's Rage 12? Come on.
Did you ask me if that's what I got? Or did you tell me to get it?
I was asking you.
You was asking me to get it?
I was asking you, did you get Revelation 12?
Yes, bro. Oh, man. No, yeah, bro, I was bugged up.
Sure.
This is Revelation 12. And I'm going to start at, first I'm going to start at 6. It says, and the woman fled into the wilderness, where she hath a place prepared of the Most High, that they should feed her there 1,260 days. So that's what the brother Ratazawanya just said, man. He said, what, man? During 70 AD, we fled where? We fled into Africa. So that's this 6th verse, man. We fled into the wilderness, which is Africa, where it was a place the Most High prepared for us, which is the west coast of Africa, where we dwelt. Built cities, empires.
Yep.
Mali, Ghana, It says, now I'm going to jump down to verse 14. So it says, and the woman, the same woman, Jeremiah 6 and, 6 and 2, I've likened the daughter of Jerusalem to a comely and delicate woman. So this woman is talking about the nation of Israel.
And to show that, when you read the beginning of the chapter, it talks about how the Romans came against Yahushua, and called it that dragon. Then it talks about the dragon chasing out the woman again, which is Israel. And what did Yahushua go into Africa? Where did we go into Africa? We just went further west, all right, to get away.
Yep, speaks by his tail, Judah, third part of heaven.
Right, Judah, Benjamin, Levi. The Roman army was starting to fuck up Jake, and Yahushua talks about it. He said the Gentiles should tread over us, man. That was 70 AD. This is what this is going into.
So now I'm going to jump down to verse 14. This Revelation 12 and 14. It says, and to the woman were given 2 wings of a great eagle, that she might flee into the wilderness, into her place, where she is nourished for a time and times and a half a time from the face of the serpent. And what's that? That's those 350 years, man. So that's when we was carried away into what? Into that second wilderness that it speaks of in Revelation 12. And what's that second wilderness? It's over here in America, man.
That's right. In the 350 years, the brother's mission is we were fully beaten down, all right? Fully captured over here in America, where Northern Kingdom and Southern, basically Northern Kingdom, Southern Kingdom was over here together getting fucked up, man. And that'd be in the 1600s.
Yep.
All right, they established their colonies at this point. It was official, this their land, and we over here in they shit. Even though Gad was, still had certain possessions, they was getting taken out the way, man. All right, that's why the shit like the Louisiana Purchase and stuff like that was able to happen. Esau already claimed this for their shit. They had us over here. They already started oppressing and killing the Northern Kingdom. All right.
Yeah, I got a couple for you. This is Daniel 7 and 25. It says, and he shall speak great. Matter of fact, I'm going to start at 24. It says, and the 10 horns out of this kingdom are 10 kings that shall arise, and another shall rise after them, and he shall be diverse from the first, and he shall subdue 3 kings. And what was those 3 kings? France, Spain, and Britain. So this is talking about what? This is talking about that little horn, which is talking about America. Verse 25. And he shall speak great words against the Most High, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High.
Who pushed evolution across the globe, who pushed atheism across the globe, who pushed everything that's contrary to the Bible across the globe, man. Esau Edom.
and wore out the saints. How did you do that, man? You know, by hardcore slavery. You know, by the different, you still wearing out the saints. Why? By
they took us off the physical chains and made it mental.
Yep, through this whole system.
Because you look up that word, the saints, it's specified mental. It's a mental thing, man.
Yep. And this whole system, you know, how Jake's motherfuckers be saying, "Oh, the system broken. We need to fix the system," and all that. The system never been broken, man.
That's exactly what the system was designed to do.
The system it has been designed to work as it's been working, man, and it's been working damn good.
Must admit it. It's working great.
You see? Because it got you niggas in a position where Esau Edom wanted you niggas to be, man. And here it is, he's signing this bill. Matter of fact, I'm going to finish this and I'm going to read this thing again. It says, and shall wear out the saints of the Most High and think to change times and laws, which that's what he did, you know. What it says, the earth is defiled under the inhabitants thereof.
That's right.
Because they changed the laws, forgotten the everlasting covenant, roughly paraphrasing. It says, and it thinks to change the times, which we got what, the Gregorian calendar, the fucking, before that was the Julian calendar. You know, all these, you gotta add a leap year. Time go forward on this daylight saving times here and there. Like, what the fuck is all that, man?
If Bush was the president, he added more time to the clock. I forget it was. He added extra minute or so. These motherfuckers bugged out.
It says, and they shall be given into his hand until a time and times and the dividing of time. Which the same thing we just read in Revelation 12, which lines up with Revelation. This is Revelation 11 and 11. And after 3 days and a half, that's that time and dividing the times. And after 3 days and a half, the spirit of life from the Most High entered into them, and they stood upon their feet, and great fear fell upon them which saw them. You know? So what, that took place, that great awakening, you know, took place when, man? Hey, when Elder Bivens started his ministry, man. That's right. And now look at it now, you know? Look at it now, you know? So, because we spoke about the system and how the system is systematically made for you niggas, you know, to suffer, right? So I went to this bill again, and I'm gonna just read a little bit of it. It says Section 3. It says, this bill establishes the 400 Years of African American History Commission to develop and carry out activities throughout the United States to commemorate the 400th anniversary of the arrival of Africans in the English colonies at Point Comfort, Virginia in 1619, right? So I'm going to just read some of the, it says the commission must. So this is the things that the commission must do. Plan programs to acknowledge the impact that slavery and laws that enforce racial discrimination had on the United States. Encourage civic, patriotic, historical, educational, artistic, religious, and economic organizations to organize and participate in anniversary activities. So now this is done to do two things. First thing to do is to counter us, because now they talking about teaching African, the African religions, the artistics, the patriotic, the historical, educational facts.
And Slack, don't overlook the patriotic part. It still make you niggas American.
That's right. That's right.
It's the peace, you dumbass niggas.
And that's the second part. For these fuck niggas thinking, oh, well, see, we're making our way to equality.
Finally progress. We're making
like,
they just told you niggas you're still a slave.
It's madness. But they made this law, but they haven't. They amended all these other laws in the Constitution, but they have yet to amend where it says that we are 3/5 of a person. What about that? Still under the U.S. Constitution, the so-called Negro is still 3/5 of a person, man. The brother Nadazaki did a lesson earlier, man. He was reading an article about the different mortgages, the house mortgages. He only focused on the house mortgage. But if the house mortgage was like that, just imagine the business mortgage and the different other loans that that people go get. But anyway, 92% of the loans that was put out of these banks was given to so-called white people. What did it say? I think it said 58% of so-called Negroes was denied, and 48% of Latinos was denied. But 92% of the loans that was given out was to so-called white people, man. What does that say about this country? What does that show you, man?
That's right. Esau ain't never gonna acknowledge you niggas, man. It's not programmed for them, and that's why they're gonna get this destruction. This bill just showed. Hey, I'm glad Trump signed this bill because now it's bringing destruction faster.
And you niggas still gotta pay for all this. This
And
is
you
not
niggas
coming
still
out.
gotta
This
pay
is
for
not
it.
coming out of nothing of the federal government. This is whoever want to volunteer and donate, man.
And you know how donations work, man. They ain't get them damn people that needed money in the earthquakes money. So let alone some niggas that's just trying to talk about some shit that happened 400 years ago and they mad. They're not gonna get his money up for this shit.
And it's all to celebrate what, man? Yo going into captivity. The same thing was with Domitian. That's what Domitian did, man, when he built the Arch of Titus to honor his brother for doing what? For taking our ass into slavery, man.
That's right.
For ransacking, destroying the temple, taking our goods, man.
That's what it is, man. This is exactly what this is.
This is the same
this
thing.
is Trump's Arch of Titus, man.
He might fuck around and be Domitian or Titus, man. But you want to get into the?
What did you just read? Oh, I'm still reading this.
Okay.
All right. So it says, in what became known as the Middle Passage, African slaves were then traded for raw materials, which were returned to Europe to complete the triangular trade. The Middle Passage was the stage of the triangular trade, in which millions of Africans were shipped to the New World as part of the Atlantic slave trade. Ships departed Europe for African markets with manufactured goods, which were traded for purchase or kidnapped Africans. So some of these niggas was bought. They was already slaves and was sold to another owner to come over here. And what was niggas heavily slaved at? Spain.
Yep.
All right.
And that's one thing they conveniently so left out, man. Even in this fucking so-called law, that those first slave ships came from where, man? Those first slave ships came from Europe, man. So why weren't those slaves called Europeans?
I got another thing. I'm gonna go to this real quick. You said that. This was slave ships, and it goes to a list of these slave ships. All right. I'm gonna go to this one was in shit. Where is it? Damn, Slovakia. I'm trying to find one I was looking at earlier. It's a list. Now this got a list full of slave ships, man. Different times. Slovakia. I was rushing. Let me look through it slowly.
I'll just continue reading this Joel until you get it. It's Joel 3.
Here we go.
Okay.
It says, Jesus of Lubeck, 700-ton ship used on the second voyage of John Hawkins to transport 400 captured Africans in 1564. Queen Elizabeth was his partner and rented him this vessel, man. And this is 1564. All right, and John Hawkins was an English slave trader, and this was during the time of the triangular trade, man. He was the first. It said he was the first damn English trader to profit from the triangular trade, man. This is what this says, which is more like the bullshit. All right, it says he was taking the supplies. Their demand for African slaves in the Spanish colonies of Santo Domingo and Venezuela in the late 16th century. So they was already bringing us over here. They was already bringing us over here, man. All right, and we was looking to another article. And I didn't post it. I didn't save that one. And they even talked about how 1441 we were over in Spain as slaves, man. All right, we were over there in Spain already as slaves. All right, up until Esau finally gained power all over Spain in 1492. We were already going through the process of being taken over and enslaved over there. That's why I said some were captured and some were sold. Like, look, all right, we'll sell these men to go over there to the New World. Okay? So back in this part I was reading, the Middle Passage, The Middle Passage was considered a time of in-betweens for those being traded from Africa to America. That's the point. Traders from the Americas and Caribbean, here we go. Traders from Americas and Caribbean received the enslaved Africans. European powers such as Portugal, England, Spain, France, Netherlands, Denmark, Norway, Sweden, and Brandenburg, as well as traders from Brazil and North America, took part in this trade. All right? So the slaves they captured and kidnapped them from the west coast of Africa, but for the most part, but they also gathered a lot of us up from Spain and these other cities, man, where we were already enslaved at, man. When they was conquering us and putting us in slavery as they conquered us, man. And this says for 200 years, from 1440 through 1640, Portuguese slavers had a near monopoly on the export of slaves, man. This 200 years, man. From 1440 to 1640, man. That the Spaniards was the ones running the slave shit. So this 400-year shit y'all talking is madness, man.
That's right. That's right. In fact, we can prove that. We can move to that. This is Genesis 15 and 13. Because this is the scripture that they try to use, right? This is Genesis 15 and 13. And he said unto Abram, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance. Now, America's going to be completely wiped out, right?
Yep.
Didn't Revelation says, in 1 hour so great riches have come to naught?
Yep.
So what great substances we don't have coming out of this place? What is we taking with us out of this place?
And everything over here in America is going to be fucking melted, man.
We can't even take this flesh. So what is we taking out of this place, man? This is the book of Acts.
I got it. I'll read it for you, bro.
Mm-hmm.
I'll look at the Genesis, because Genesis goes into it anyway. So, this is Acts 7. And I'm going to start at... what verse you going to start at?
I was just going to start at 6. I was going to hit straight to the point.
All right. Acts 7. Yeah, 6. And the Most High spake on this wise, that his seed should sojourn in a strange land, and that they should bring them into bondage and entreat them evil 400 years. And the nations to whom they shall be in bondage will I judge, said the Most High. And after that shall they come forth and serve me in this place.
Mm-hmm.
And he gave him the covenant of circumcision. And so Abraham begat Isaac and circumcised him on the 8th day.
And that's what we did, because we continue to read that Genesis. It said what? Then shall they return in the 4th generation, because the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full. You know? So we returned where? To the land of Canaan, where Abraham was when the Lord gave him this vision, this prophecy that he seen. We returned there, man, and served the Lord, man. That's prophecy being fulfilled already.
And he gave him the covenant of circumcision, and so Abraham begot Isaac and circumcised him the 8th day. And Isaac begot Jacob, and Jacob begot the 12 patriarchs. Let me keep going.
No, I mean, whatever you got, bro. Whatever you got. You know,
that's it on that. We can go to Exodus, the 1st chapter. What did you say?
No, I was just going to hit the Exodus 12.
That's the spirit. I was going to say, man, I literally just thought the Exodus 12 because I was going to say we asked them gifts from them, man.
Yep.
So I get the Exodus 1 for you there.
Yep. Because they said what, man? That the Lord will judge that nation, and afterward we shall come out with great substance. This is Exodus, the 12th chapter.
Let me read this for you.
Okay, kind of.
It's Exodus 1, and 9. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more mighty than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land. Therefore they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens, and they built for Pharaoh treasure cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflicted them, the more they multiplied and grew, and they were grieved because of the children of Israel. And the Egyptians made the children of Israel to serve with rigor. All right, that's that harshness, man. It said that they should afflict us, man. This is that affliction right here, man. And they made their lives bitter with hard bondage and mortar, and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. All their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor, man.
That's right. That's right.
Let's go here.
This is Exodus 12, and I'll start at 31, just so you can get the atmosphere of that night, man. It's Exodus 12 and 31, and he called for Moses and Aaron by night and said, Rise up and get you forth from amongst my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as ye have said, right? Because this is after our first Passover, which was solemn as hell, right? All the firstborn of Egypt died that night, man. You understand? So it's great tension going on this night, man. It says, matter of fact, I'm gonna start at 30. This is Exodus 12 and 30. And Pharaoh rose up in the night, he and all his servants and all the Egyptians, and there was a great cry in Egypt, for there was not a house where there was not one dead. And he called Moses and Aaron by night and said, Rise up and get ye forth from amongst my people, both you and the children of Israel, and go serve Yahweh as ye have said. Also take your flocks and your herds as ye have said, and be gone, and bless me also. And the Egyptians were urgent upon the people that they might send them out of the land in haste. For they said, we be all dead men. So they like, man, look, you niggas here believe, man. Right? It says, and the people took their dough before it was leavened, their kneading troughs, being bound up in their clothes upon their shoulders. And the children of Israel did according to the word of Moses. And they borrowed of the Egyptians jewels of silver and jewels of gold and raiment. And Yahweh gave the people favor in the sight of the Egyptians, so that they lent unto them such things as they required, and they spoiled the Egyptians, man. And that's when we came out with great substance. After what? After the Lord have judged them.
That's right.
That's a fulfillment of Genesis the 15th chapter, man.
That's right.
I mean, that's obvious and plain.
Oh shit, you plug the camera up?
You know? Because whoever's saying 2019, 2020 is the time of our salvation, guess what? Then you're making the Most High a lie. Because he said no man knoweth the day or time, man.
God, we're gonna grab that, man. Hey, we dealing with a master devil, man. His ass, he's not gonna just let us go just because of that, man. He don't want to let us go at all, man. You can get Nahum 3 and 1 real quick.
Mm-hmm.
This is Ezekiel 35 and 5. Because that, and we already proved that the man's hand that we in is Esau Edom, man. That's what it's talking about. Because thou hast had a perpetual hatred and has shed the blood of the children of Israel by the force of the sword at the time of their calamity and the time that their iniquity had an end. So look, in any time period that Israel was supposed to, even seems like the burden should get lighter, Esau wouldn't let us go, man. The Emancipation Proclamation, man. Yep. All right, which they say was to free us, which clearly why they signed this then if we were free. That shit ended back then. How we still count as 400 years in slavery? And the government recognized it because we're still in captivity, man. And they ain't giving you niggas credit to this day for building this place up and being this place was built on the backs of slaves. But nevertheless, they were supposedly letting us go back then, but all they did was transfer us over, man.
Right.
All right, to now what? We slave for corporations. Mm-hmm. Same thing. And in fact, this is cheaper than what they do back then. This is cheaper. They tax you on a little money they give you. All right, you give them the money you get to where you live at your quarters. They get paid for that. All right. So that kept that credit system growing because they getting paid off your ass. They got richer off of that.
They did.
This is cheaper than old captivity, where they had to personally feed you, personally take care of you, personally give you a free day out the week for morale boost, provide the victuals for that. All right, this is cheaper.
Well, they was cool with that. That was the whole thing. That's because those wealthy Edomites that was owning the slaves, because of all the labor that the slaves was doing, they was having an increase of their money. So they was seeing all the increase of money, like shit, nigga, we straight. So when that transfer came out, that's when they like, okay, now it's coming from my pocket into the big bank pocket. You know what I'm saying? So now it's not making these individual slave owners rich anymore. Now it's making the bankers rich now. You know, and that was the big conflict back then too, you know?
So this shit worked out better for them. Alright? So, hey, and hell, that, according to the numbers, that was more of a 400-year period than this. We approaching 600 years, man. 1800 was more than 400 years than this. We was in slavery in 1400s, man. 1500s, man. Alright? And then what? The 350 years, when we even start to wake up. Which is the same, around the same time the civil rights and shit was happening. Alright?
And that goes to them being divided. You know, because on one hand, like how you just explained, it worked out better for certain Edomites. But on another hand, them fucking South motherfuckers, you know what I'm saying? They wasn't going for that shit. But but the whole thing, supposedly we were supposed to be let free. But then what did they end up doing? Those jakes that was leaving from the South going up north, what did they do, man?
Get jobs.
You know? But before a lot of them didn't even make it, because you got places like Natchez, Mississippi.
What kind?
What happened, man? That was an internment camp, man. They put you in an internment camp where they starved the women and children and worked the men to death. But they were supposed to be made free.
Yeah, just like today. Yeah, you niggas.
Yep.
Hey, what happened during the civil rights, man? This is the same time period where the awakening was happening with Albert Bivens. All right, what was happening is Genesis 49 and 9. Judah is a lion's whelp. From the prey, my son, that are gone up. He stooped down, he couched as a lion, and as an old lion, who shall rouse him up? All right, so we were supposed to be let go free during Abraham Lincoln times. We just got put into mental captivity, put into this hell of a system to now where they actually wear out the saints by afflicting their minds, all right?
Yeah, this is worse.
That's right. And then to what? When niggas was fake waking up to the civil rights time, you know, saying this was bullshit. They was getting, you know, roused up, all right? And what did they do then? All right, let's give these niggas this little piece of fake freedom again. Give them this piece of fake freedom again. Give them some jobs. Let them into these fields. All right, let's let them go to schools with us, but let's section off district off the school system. So really, now we ain't got to even worry about them. They ain't teaching themselves shit. We can teach them the bullshit we want to teach them, which worked out for them. They afflicted us even more. Civil integration fucked us up because back then we taught each other. Yep. So we taught each other truth. You know, at least. We actually wanted to see our own people succeed. So we gave them actual knowledge and shit, man. When Esau got power, they looked, well, we can go ahead and move our people into rich neighborhoods, fund those schools so they can get good education, and then move our people, meaning our people, all right, niggas, my people, you know, as opposed to they people that was in the rich spots, underfund our schools, give them bullshit teachings, man.
Mm-hmm. Put them in projects.
Right.
Make it hard for them to get jobs. Fill they neighborhoods with guns and drugs. Give
them no child left behind. Hey, they don't actually have to learn the shit. Let's just advance them forward. They can be in worse position when they're in adulthood than these other heathens, man. Specifically Esau. They rocked us to sleep. Yeah, no problem. You can get some affirmative action. Yeah, you can get a job in this white corporation. Hey. Just one or two of you niggas. Just one is needed. To make it seem like we care.
Yep. Hey,
all right?
They showed you that.
Let one go to our schools. The rest you go to your nigger schools where we underfund. Yep. And then don't teach you shit. All right.
They showed you that in the spook that sat by the door. They allowed this one Jake to come into I think it was the FBI or the CIA. You know what I'm saying? And the whole sentiment was, well, yeah, if we let him in, then it'll be he's the poster boy, so the rest of them can believe they have an opportunity too.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying? And they showed you in the movie, the comedy "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker" with Keenan Ivory Wayans.
They went down there to riot, and they said they left with jobs.
Yep.
That's how you just got rocked to sleep. You went down there and was cool with. You went and fought to be a damn slave. All right, you forgot about fucking Black Wall Street when niggas was owning shit and was thriving.
Mm-hmm.
You went and fought to be slaves, man. And they just showed you still a slave for this damn bill. And all these people that's now so prophetic is proving it by saying we still in slavery for these 400 years, and now you can finally get free next year. Man, beat it, man. These damn devils ain't never gonna let us go, man. We've been in captivity for longer than 400 goddamn years. And anytime it's like we're getting free, hey, they always just fuck us up even more. We start waking up, and they start giving these jobs and giving this bullshit. Alright? Guess what? Just like Pharaoh did. Go here, Israel. Go serve the Lord. Nah, fuck that. Ain't gonna happen. Go here, Israel. Go serve the Lord. Nah, fuck that. So the Lord finally brought death and destruction. Same thing can happen to this place. Alright? Because they ain't gonna never let us go, man. The Lord going to come kill their ass, man.
Hey, that's why it says, we read in Exodus 21. If he still at the man and be found in his hands, he should surely be put to death.
That's right.
You know?
That's right.
Esau ain't gonna willingly let us go, man. He gonna fight against the Lord just to keep his you know.
Khan. And you can get the Nahum 3.
Yeah, I got it. This is the book of Nahum, chapter 3, verse 1. Woe to the bloody city! It is full of lies and robbery. The prey departeth not.
There you go, man. Lies and robbery, man. They deceived motherfuckers to make them think they free. And then tell you still a slave in your face. What a damn law. Alright?
Hey, because what happened in Egypt?
You getting Romans 9?
Yep.
I already got it.
Damn.
Alright? What a law, man. Telling you still a fucking slave. So look, great destruction is coming upon these people, and this is why, man. This is Romans 9 and 13. As it is written, Jacob have I loved, Esau have I hated. What shall we say then? Is there unrighteousness with the Most High? Alright, for he said unto Moses, I will have mercy on whom I will have mercy. I will have compassion on whom I will have compassion. So then it's not of him that willeth, nor of him that runneth, but of the Most High that showeth mercy. For the scripture says to Pharaoh, even for this purpose have I raised thee up, that I might show my power in thee, and that my name might be declared throughout all the earth. And Esau was a new Pharaoh, man. So it's the same thing. He's supposed to let us, supposedly, let us go in the 1800s. But he scratched that just like Pharaoh. All right? Niggas was waking up, that lion getting roused up. But Esau did what? Gave us jobs and fake-ass equality. All right? Fake-ass freedom. And niggas got, that lion went to sleep, man. He didn't let us go again. Alright, and this time around, what is he saying? Alright, we're going to acknowledge you niggas. Just to appease you niggas again. We're going to acknowledge y'all that y'all were slaves. Alright? We ain't going to pay for shit, but we will acknowledge y'all were slaves. That's it. Alright? Even though this shit is already fucking known, we're still here. Alright? Just so they don't let us go. That's the whole point. They will never let us go. They're not going to tell you who you are. Alright? They want to give you reparations so you can take your black ass back to Africa and you ain't even from there. This is madness, man. I'm keep going. Esau was the spiritual Pharaoh again. With a hardened heart, man. He ain't going to let you niggas go because the Lord don't want him to. He going to be found with us in his hands. Therefore have thee mercy on whom he will have mercy, and whom he hardeneth. Thou wilt say then unto me, why doth he yet find fault? Who hath resisted his will? Nay, but, O man, who art thou that replies against the Most High? Shall the thing formed say to him that formed it, why hast thou made me thus? Have not the potter power over the clay of the same lump, to make one vessel unto honor and another unto dishonor? What if the Most High, willing to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering, the vessels of wrath fitted for destruction, man. And this is much long suffering, man. Alright? We've been under these damn devil's hands for over 500 years, man. This is much long suffering, man. And why he says so they can, so he can show his wrath to that's fit for destruction. So this had to go on for this set amount of time the Lord saw fit, man. Which he never specified the amount either. He just said what? This is Isaiah 10. This is Isaiah 10 and 24. Therefore, I'm going to start at 23. For the Lord Yahweh of hosts shall make a consumption, even determined in the midst of all the land. Therefore, thus saith the Lord Yahweh of hosts, O my people that dwelleth in Zion, be not afraid of the Syrian. He shall smite thee with the rod. And the Syrian is talking about America, man. Alright? He shall smite thee with the rod, and shall lift up his staff against thee. After the manner of Egypt, going to Revelation 11:8. Like, notice talking about the spiritual Egypt. This is a spiritual Assyria, man. Not ancient Assyria. So he's going to fuck us up like Egypt, right? What does it say? For yet a very little while, and the indignation shall cease, and my anger in their destruction. Alright? And the Lord of hosts shall stir up a scorch for him according to the slaughter of Midian at the rock of Oreb, and as his rod was upon the sea, so shall he lift it up after the manner of Egypt, man. So it said for yet a very little while. So he just told us to suffer for a certain amount of time, man. He ain't specified how long. He said, look, you're going to have to suffer for a set time. Alright? Though it tarry away for us, you surely come, will not tarry, man. He never told you how long, though, man. He specified to Abraham how long. It was written down how long it was going to be in Babylonian captivity. Daniel was able to go and look and see and say, oh, yeah, this that time. Right.
He went to the scriptures and was able to tell. Yep.
I forget what he was reading. Was it Jeremiah? I forget what he was reading. That's Salakia. He was reading. He understood that how long we was supposed to be there, man. Was it Jeremiah?
It might have been, if I'm not mistaken.
So, right.
This is
because it's specified. Go ahead.
This is St. Mark 13 and 28. It says, now learn a parable of the fig tree. When her branch is yet tender and putteth forth leaves, ye know that summer is near. So ye in like manner, when ye shall see these things come to pass, know that it is nigh, even at the doors.
Right. Salaki, this is the thing. And the prophecy of Abraham, the Lord said this amount of time. With the Babylon thing, he said this amount of time. All right? With the end, he said these signs will happen. Mm-hmm. All right? These signs will happen. And that's what time is anyway. The time is signs of heaven. All right? A year, a day is a sign of heaven of the sun went down and came back up and then went down. That's a day. That's a sign of heaven. The signs we got now, blood moon, blackened sun, the lunar eclipse, solar eclipse, yep. All right, earthquakes, all these are the signs now. We're not using the sign of time this time, right? We're using the sign of all these events happening. Mm-hmm. All right?
And that's how we know that the time is near.
That's right, man.
So could it be, Lord willing, it's this year, man?
Tonight, man. Wake up to the damn economy collapse, man. Yeah. And Russian troops parachuting down out the air and shit.
Yep. You know, but could it be 2019? It could be. Could it be 2020? It could be. Could it be fucking 2021? Lord forbid. It could be, man. But I'm going to keep reading. It says, verily I say unto you, that this generation shall not pass till all these things be done.
That's right.
Right? Heaven and earth shall pass away, but my words shall not pass away. Keep that in mind. The Lord's words will not pass away. What's the very next thing he's going to say? 32. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father.
Right, so you motherfuckers are casting away prophecy, scripture. All right, 2019, 2020, they arguing over this shit. This is when it's going to happen because of the prophecy that was already passed, man. That prophecy don't fit this, man. Mm-hmm. And hell, if anything, if it did fit, you a little over 200 years too late, man. 1800s came past, that was our 400 years, and they fake let us go. All right? Like it said in Ezekiel, man, they furthered the affliction. Slap, that's exactly right. Like Ezekiel said, I just read it. At the time that the punishment had an end, man. All right? So whatever spirit of time, whether it's 350, whatever Esau, his agenda, what he's programmed is, whenever that time period comes where it's like, okay, man, damn, we got to ease up on them a little bit, they just find another way to oppress us and make us think we fucking free, man. Emancipation, affirmative action. And this time around, HR 1242. Same shit, man. They refuse to let us go.
Yep. And it says, I'm going to read it again. But of that day and that hour knoweth no man, no, not the angels which are in heaven, neither the Son, but the Father. So Yahweh didn't tell this to Yahweh Shai. So how the fuck these motherfuckers know? Yahweh Shai said, everything that I have heard of my Father, I have made known unto you. The Lord didn't make that known unto Yahweh Shai. So how do you know? Verse 33, take ye heed, watch and pray, for ye know not when the time is.
That's right.
And that's written in red, man.
All right, he says he'll come like a thief in the night, but to watch so we don't be gotten by the thief, man.
And how are we watching, man? By being occupied in these scriptures. Look in the real world, seeing the signs. Oh, Russia made this move. America going against that. Oh, Iran, China. Oh,
the stock market dropped this much. The dollar's being decreased. These nations are letting go of the dollar bill.
Yep.
Going back to that James.
Yep.
All right, that's the sign. It says it's a witness against you.
Yep.
Us saying that your economy is falling is a witness against you. That's how we know the end is coming. Us saying these damn weird ass earthquakes, that's how we know the end is coming.
Mm-hmm.
Wildfires.
Yep. It said the beasts and the fish, the birds shall be taken in a great number. You seeing all kind of mass die-offs, man, of insects, bees and flies and butterflies and all kind of different birds, animals in the water beaching themselves, birds falling out the sky, all kind of shit, man.
Homosexuality at all-time high. Oh my
God, yes. Yep.
That's one of them, man.
Yep. Yep.
All right. It talks about the plagues that'll be out, man.
Yep.
Wisdom of Solomon 14 goes into the state and mindset of people, how they will be this flawed in darkness, man. Change their kinds, transsexualism. All right. That shit's at an all-time high, which as you know we're at the end. All right. Your sins are reaching to the heaven, like it says. What Genesis with the old Sodom. This is new Sodom. All right. Yep. That's how we know. I got a precept for you. This is Acts, the 1st chapter, and verse 6. When they therefore were come together, they asked of him, saying, Lord, wilt thou at this time restore again the kingdom to Israel? And he said unto them, it is not for you to know the times or the seasons which the Father had put in his own power. So the Lord kept this one hidden from himself, man. He ain't tell us exactly when it was going to happen. But he told us, look, watch these signs. Yep. When you see these signs, it's near. He ain't giving us the exact time, man. The Lord, hey, what? He can keep a secret for himself, man. In fact, hey, Sirach tells you that, man. So he did not give unto his saints the power to declare all his works. He kept some shit to himself. That's right. He said the things that are revealed, we know. So you guys are clearly false prophets, man. This is back, and it's evident. Hey, Moses didn't know when Pharaoh was going to let them go. He just kept telling Moses, go here to Pharaoh. All right? And sometimes, and he'll tell him he ain't going to let him judge you go. He ain't going to do this. And sometimes what did Pharaoh do, though? He pump fake.
Yeah, he said
act like I was going to let you go. That's what America's been doing, man. They refuse to let us go. All right? They further the affliction. That's the spirit of Pharaoh, man, so they can be found with us in their hands. They can get this great destruction, man. And it's been over 400 years, man. This is Romans 9. I'm going to read 22 over it. What if the Most High went to show his wrath and to make his power known, endure with much long suffering the vessels of wrath fitted to destruction, and that he might make known the riches of his glory on the vessels of mercy, which he had afore prepared unto glory. All right? So the Lord has been patiently waiting, man. So when shit do come down the pike, the destruction can be even bigger, it can be more, it's justified. All right? And but also, so the salvation come, it's even more glorious, man. All right? Because Esau got all this weaponry. We got no way out. And Esau just let us go back during with the president, like the old times, Babylon, they let us go. Well, they let us go and build the temple over. All right?
Yeah, the Persians.
Different times we were in captivity, we got let go in a sense, man. Allowed to go back to our land. And the Lord didn't want that for Esau, man. He said he wanted him to get this destruction, man. So we gotta be in his hands when the Lord returned. It said he waited for them to get this destruction. And so we can get such a great salvation. Like at Orab, like Moses with the rod at the sea. So our only way out is the Lord, man. Us getting spiritual powers. Us getting delivered by chariots, man. So it can be that much more glorious, man. And you don't know what day it is, man. You don't know what year it's going to be. We just know it's near, man. It can be tomorrow. And God forbid it can be 5 years from now, man. But it's fucking soon, man. And through the Spirit, it ain't gonna, I can be wrong. I don't believe it'll be 5 years because it said no flesh shall make it, man. You gotta cut this thing short. Alright, the way this place is going, man, fuck, nobody will make it, man. It's not too many years this place can keep going. Esau was destroying every goddamn thing. We won't have no damn bees. And with no bees, there's no life, man. You got something else?
That's it, bro.
Con. So, in hope it's edifying, all praise and honor, glory to
Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai.
Double honors to the apostles. All right, shout that you brothers doing this thing in sincerity and truth and with charity, man.
Yep.
All right, Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Wahar Rakakodash, Barakatham, Shalom.